Hey, I'm going to the shop. You guys want anything?
Yeah, you can get some like Fanta or maybe a Coke. You know, we're drinking a lot over here.
But we already have some sodas though. We got like Dr. Pepper, we got some Coke. I mean, I could get some.
Can you just get out of the house for 45 minutes to an hour?
Fine.
This is culturally inappropriate.
Folks, I don't pride myself in my timeliness, okay? I don't play games as soon as they come out because I'm broke as shit. And I can't afford to hop on any new trend because a video usually takes a whole month to make for absolutely no reason. So, Balatro, a game considered Game of the Year of 2024, is what I choose to review in the middle of 2025, where it's not new enough to be trendy, but not old enough to be a classic. So it's just like, lame? Doesn't matter though. Balatro hit me like a fucking nuclear bomb last year. I saw people recommending it a ton, so I got it and played with my friend. And I shit you not, we played it for 2 hours straight, and then after he left, I continued playing for 7 more hours, completely forgetting to eat dinner or even sleep. I hadn't been enthralled by a game like that ever since The Binding of Isaac, so I knew this game was something special. 100 odd hours later, and 2 whole second channel videos, I feel like it's finally time to give Balatro its due on the main channel. And so, without further ado, let's go. First, we gotta talk about the presentation, and man, it is immaculate. I hate to be an old man, but modern games are still focusing on 4K textures and uncompressed audio and skins and shit that adds up to each game taking 100 fucking gigabytes in your hard drive, when in reality, games should be focusing on using the advances of new tech to make games that are as seamless and convenient as humanly possible. And man, Balatro has that in spades. Full screen, widescreen, resolution, VSync. You already know it's amazing. I got so used to playing old games that I sometimes forgot that my monitor has 180Hz, and games can actually use them. You'd expect a 2D game to be smooth, but this game I would say is buttery smooth. I can't post a 180fps video, but if you were to buy a high refresh rate monitor, Balatro would genuinely be my first pick of what to test. And what about the graphics themselves? Well, the color palette is very pleasant. The cards are all well drawn and carry a consistent art style. Items and cards in this game scale incredibly well too. The designs mostly followed the same formula of clown in the middle of card, and yet they all have highly distinct shapes and colors that would be clearly identifiable on a small display. This game's UI is awesome. It has excellent color coding, shaping, and tactility, which is not a word I was expecting to use, but it just feels right. The buttons, when clicked, look like they're being physically pushed down. The cards move around when you hover your mouse over them, and satisfyingly whip back after you toss them away. The whole game feels like an expensive and high-quality fidget toy, injecting dopamine right at the parts of your brain that like TikTok hydraulic press videos. And last but not least, the sound. It is incredibly crisp. Sound effects feel intuitive. Like if you imagine what the word money sounds like, that's the sound it'll make. Or even more abstract concepts like, what does chips sound like? What do things multiplying against one another sound like? And yet, that's exactly what they put in the game. And it just works! The job of a sound designer is incredibly difficult. Thousands of games and thousands of designers try and fail every single day.
Can you hear me, Admiral?
Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground! Burn to the ground! Burn! Burn to the ground! Try from it! Burn! Burn to the ground! Try from it! Burn to the ground!
And the fact that one man, one developer, was able to do this. Is nothing short of incredible. But I cannot forget about the cherry on top, the bow that wraps the gift all tight, Balatro's music. Folks, this game has one song. There are multiple versions of it, but it's still that one song. I have listened to this song over and over and over again for multiple hours at a time for around 100 hours. So how the hell am I not sick of it? I don't know a damn thing about music, but I'm pretty sure the guy who composed it is a fucking S-tier genius. The song is calm and soothing but not boring, bright and inspiring but not overwhelming, and it blends into the background not as something unnoticed, but like salt and pepper in your fried rice or a warm fireplace while watching TV. God fucking damn! I feel like it'll be years before another game hits this level of presentation. Even some of Balatro's peers like the Binding of Isaac and Slay the Spire still miss the mark in certain aspects, or at least are not as nearly as universally beloved and enjoyed as this game's presentation. I haven't even talked about the fucking game yet. So, I guess let's do that. Okay, first things first, go into settings and change this speed toggle to 4x. It doesn't make the game too fast, it just speeds up the animations, and I promise once you do it, you'll never ever want to go back. Next, turn off the CRT filter. I don't like it. You could keep it on, but I won't like you. Anyway, let's start. Balatro at heart is a card game, a deck builder roguelike to be exact, that uses poker hands as a base. It's not similar to the actual game in any way besides these hands, so it's perfectly safe for kids to use as the gateway drug for the harder stuff down the line. When you start a round, you're given a stack of cards and an amount of points you need to get to beat the round, called a blind. You make poker hands to get points, and higher quality hands mean better points. Your score is listed here. The blue number on the left is called chips, and the red number is called multiplier or mult. There is also times mult, which multiplies the multiplier number instead of simply adding to it, and you can probably guess just how powerful that is. After you beat a level, you earn a bit of money and can use the shop. Shops sell you 3 things: booster packs used to obtain more cards or consumables, vouchers, which are global power-ups that last the whole game, and finally, jokers, the bread and butter of Balatro. Jokers are passive items that can augment your gameplay in various different and interesting ways. Some jokers just straight up give you chips or mult. Some provide rewards based on certain conditions, like playing a card with an odd number. A lot of jokers even have effects that interact with each other. An example is Baseball Card, which adds times mult for every joker you have that is uncommon rarity. You're usually limited to 5 jokers, forcing you to think carefully about which loadout you choose to bring, and even the order in which jokers are placed. Or you can just get a ton of negatives. Either works. All of this info can come off as a bit overwhelming if you've never played the game, but for those of us who have, we can actually attest that Balatro is incredibly accessible. First off, the basic idea of using poker hands to fight is so simple and intuitive that I believe anybody of any age can get accustomed to it, as we do see pop up from time to time.
I don't think you can win this one now.
Second, this game's built-in information is impeccable. Hovering on any card in the game at any point will tell you exactly what it does with clear, simple, and consistent language. This game's card descriptions are so good, I did not open a wiki once in 100 hours of play. Now, let's compare it to one of its roguelike peers in The Binding of Isaac. Items in Isaac can be ruthlessly complex, but the info you get in-game is almost worthless. Pick up an item, you get the name and a stupid blurb that barely helps. Like look at Teleport 2.0. teleports Isaac to an unexplored room. Prioritizes normal rooms over special rooms. Common special rooms have priority over rare ones. When using unclear room, it will simply reset the room. The order of rooms that his item will teleport Isaac to is as follows. Brave room, only the dark room. Mirror Minecraft room, on downpour mines 2. Normal rooms, red room, boss room, super secret room, shop, treasure room, planetarium, sacrifice room, bedroom, library, first room, mini boss room, challenge room, bedroom, arcade, vault, secret room, double room, ultra secret room, error room. And what's the in-game description? And don't even get me started on Eden's Soul. This is one of my favorite video games of all time, by the way, but I know fully well how difficult it is to pick up as a beginner without extensive wiki reading or watching Slay XE2. And again, not once was that needed in Balatro. And thirdly, in general, the barrier of entry is just low. You can play this game on PC, console, and even phones, where, fun fact, Balatro became the highest selling paid mobile game for a while, overtaking Minecraft. The game also has no time limit and saves after every hand you play. And if you somehow lose your save or just want to play with every Joker, there is an unlock all button readily available. This game's motto really is, play however the hell you want, and it makes so many considerations to make sure you do. But that's just the technical stuff. What makes Balatro so open and free in the gameplay department lies in how almost anything can win. Remember when I told you that Jokers can interact with one another? Well, that brings me to something that I believe is the highest possible appeal of roguelikes: synergies. A synergy is basically when two or more items in a game combine to make something stronger than the sum of its parts. Think peanut butter and jelly, James and Bruce, Stewie and Brian. Discovering item combinations that are overpowered, broken, or even game-winning is a very addictive feeling, and Balatro's sheer modularity in gameplay offers many chances for the player to do that. Almost every single element of the game can be exploited, and to give some examples, here are 3 completely different yet perfectly viable builds that you can win with. Smear Joker and Ancient Joker. So there's a hand in Balatro called a flush, which is 5 cards of the same suit, either spade, club, diamond, or heart. Smeared Joker combines the 2 black suits and the 2 red suits into one, making flushes much easier. Ancient Joker gives 1.5 times mult for cards of a random suit that changes every round. And obviously, with only 2 suits to pay attention to, this card becomes incredibly powerful. If you happen to run into these 2, focus on sources of chips and upgrading flush or straight flush, and you should be home free. Hologram and Certificate or Marble Joker. Hologram is a very powerful Joker. Like, it's almost game-winning if you just have a little bit of luck in getting some standard packs. It gives times mult for every single card that is added to your deck from any source. Certificate and Marble Joker, meanwhile, add cards to your deck in every single round. It's really that simple, and if you just play a decent run next to it, it is an incredibly easy win. And finally, the absolute classic, the meme of all memes, Photo Chad. Photograph is a Joker that grants 2 times mult for the first face card that you play. That's Jacks, Queens, and Kings. Hanging Chad is a Joker that re-triggers the first played card twice. So if you have both of these at the same time, playing a face card in the first slot will guarantee 3 activations of Photograph, meaning times 8 of your existing mult. This combination scales incredibly well, especially if you've been upgrading your hands properly. And as a bonus, both of these Jokers are common rarity, making them pretty easy to come by at the same time. In fact, there are a lot of synergies related to face cards, making them one of the most reliable targets to build around in the entire game. But that is true if, and only if, you don't face the plant. The plant is a boss blind that disables every single face card. It takes no prisoners, and it spares no soul. If you're an unlucky sap that was barely scraping by even on Photo Chad, or even Smiley Face Chad, or God forbid, Pareidolia, you will be its next target. And then when it's done with you, you will just be another statistic, one more pathetic life among the pile of millions of runs whose lives it has taken. Keep a luchador by your pillow, get a VHS if you must. Just don't let it catch you. Anyway, that's just the very, very surface level of what you can do in Balatro. And I really do mean anything can win in this game, because some folks have even beaten the no joker challenge. Yeah, just straight up raw dogging the game and still coming out on top. But still, that is half of what Balatro is. The true joy of this game is figuring out just how far you can push it. There are a few things which I believe are universal in human beings. We eat, we sleep, we do feces, but we also love when numbers go up. And in Balatro, with just the right build and the right opportunities, you can get some really big numbers. 10 million? Nothing. 1 billion? Still absolute piss. 100 billion? Not even close to the limit. The ultimate achievement in Balatro is achieving what is called 9-inf, the equivalent of 1.8 E308 or 1 and 308 zeros. Yeah, the human mind can barely even comprehend 100,000 in our heads, and yet this number, bigger than the amount of fucking atoms in the universe times 4, can be achievable in under 1 hour. Plus, without the limit of 8 antes, a build that you worked so hard towards can have the chance to reach its full potential. Want to make a full deck of nothing but red seal metal 6s? You got it. There are jokers that add more hands. You can use Blueprint to copy its ability to go all the way to 14 hands. Want to incinerate your entire deck to only be left with 5 identical cards? Of course you can. The worst part about Binding of Isaac is getting an amazing build, but then literally running out of game to use it on, and I'm glad that Balatro offers the freedom to push your build to its logical limit. But, as you may have noticed, this is not my footage at all. I fully acknowledge that I am still completely fucking ass at this game even after 100 hours or so, but luckily, Balatro has one of the most positive and dedicated communities for a newer game that I have ever seen. There are a lot of resources out there to learn the game of Balatro. Raffle makes a video almost every single day showcasing great runs. Balatro University single-handedly teaching the world how to reach 9-inf with everything. And Bean providing steady multiplayer versus content. And so many more. Wait, did I say multiplayer? I thought this game was single player. Yeah, it absolutely is, but multiplayer was modded in. This game has a very vibrant modding scene and is actually relatively easy to get into, to the point where even YouTubers like Yahiamice over here could make their own mods. There are mods in every flavor, from plain vanilla plus to absolute batshit insanity. Click it and enjoy. Enjoy.
Wow! That's
Another hour could be spent going through Balatro mods if I wanted to, but we just don't have time for that right now. Instead, please look at this. This is Balatro for the Game Boy Advance e-reader. This is Balatro for the Nintendo DS. This is Balatro on the Commodore 64. All of these are fan projects and are still in tech demo territory, but just the fact that this 1-year-old game has people making fan demakes of it on the goddamn Commodore 64 is nothing short of insane, and it's the clearest example of how creativity can foster when copyright and litigation are not things an artist has to fear. In an artistic utopia, anyone could make a 3D Pokemon or a Harry Potter game, but alas, we as a society have to make do with Pal World and Secret Agent Wizard Boy. The point is, do not hesitate to join the Balatro community. They will welcome you with open arms, and contributing to it is not difficult at all. But you know what is difficult? Finishing a goddamn video for me. This could have taken 3 days, and yet it's taken 2 weeks. Ugh. But anyway, I love Balatro. It's one of my favorite indie games of the past 5 years, possibly 10 years. Right next to Isaac and, the such. And I hope they continue to release more content for it. And maybe not as DLC, because I don't like how Isaac does it. It's so weird, but, whatever comes will come, right? And yeah, I hope more mods come out because I love modding Balatro. It's so much fun. And yeah, this just felt like a good idea to get some views. It's a good ass game and people like it, so why not, right? Anyway, thank you all for watching my video. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.